My audience is pretty well behaved, but it might also kind of be because they kind of see me as this mommy figure. So they're all little good boys and good girls, but they do expect me to.
Welcome to Metaverse Degen. I'm Lion.
Oh, my old man Raptor, and our guest is.
Who are you?
Thanks. Sorry, my mic is absolute garbage.
It's A-okay. Thank you very much for joining us.
There for a moment, I thought you forgot who she was.
No. I can't forget who I am. There's only one, and it's only me.
Yeah.
That's right.
Who are you, and what are you most known for, then? And how'd you get started with everything and VR, and what you do?
Who am I? Well, already someone am. My name is Dex. Some call me DexSan, some call me DexChan, due to me having two different accounts with different abbreviations at the end. What do I do and what do people know me of? First of all, I've been DJing for over a year now. A lot of people know me from that. Also, a lot of people know me from some almost not safe work pictures on Twitter. Riding the line of almost but not. And there's a bunch of people, quite a bunch of people that know me for VTubing.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Sort of doing that on the side.
Oh. So how did you get started with all of that? Because it sounds like quite the rapport of stuff.
So I started with the whole picture thing because I like taking pictures in VRchat. I got my full body because I like drinking with friends, and I saw them having fun drinking in full bodies. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get that too. And then I started exploring, making avatars and taking pictures, making them look nice and everything. And that's kind of how I started growing on Twitter, especially on the Japanese side, especially due to a really particular interesting video, which I cloned myself, and basically one had a tentacle tongue, and they were basically kissing with the tentacle tongue. And well, you know, the Japanese, that's 4K.
The Japanese and tentacles understand.
Yes. At one point, I was playing VRchat for about a year or something, or closer to the end of a year, and I kind of got bored. I wanted to do something exciting, interesting, so I started looking into the clubs in the VR scene. And met some great people, some really interesting people too. Two mentors, you could say, and that's kind of how I got started into DJing.
Oh, wow.
And from there, it has been, like, it went like a rocket ship for me. Started really small, got better, got even better, started to step up my own skills, started getting better than other people, and at one point, basically one of my teachers, you could say, said like, yeah, you're good. You're good. And I even have people say like, yeah, you're better than me. So I felt my fulfillment. Then I had no rifle anymore in VRchat, so I kind of stopped DJing in VRchat for a while. I occasionally still DJ for friends in VRchat, usually the Japanese scene, usually when I'm asked. But my focus is currently on IRL and Twitch events. Played a couple of pretty big Twitch events in the scene that I'm playing music of.
Oh, wow.
And at this end... Oh? Excuse me. At this end,
doing
so like...
fly-by-mail drizzly.
Yeah. At this end, like my entertainment, my let's say my goal started to like dwindle down, so I needed a new goal, and I always liked VTubers. I'm a big fan of Coco, like massive fan. Big fan of Pecora. Thanks to Pecora, I know about VTubing because Crazy Bunny. And I was like, I have quite a lot of time. I have this whole setup, and you know what? I'm just gonna try it. I'm gonna get a 2D live model. Gonna start and just like try it out. And I've not stopped since. I've started growing more over time, and here I am now.
Wow. So I have a bunch of questions, but I'll start more towards the beginning. What made you want to join VRchat in the first place? What was your reason for getting a headset and coming here?
All right. So, contrary to a lot of people that joined VRchat due to COVID, I joined in 2019, so pre-COVID time. Things were not going well at home. I was lonely. Me and my girlfriend back then, now my ex, moved from the city to a smaller city. I had 0 friends there. All I did was work. I had no friends. I started feeling unquote lonely. So it's like, you know, I used to go on Habbo Hotel, IMVU, Second Life. I've not been doing that for ages. The clan that I part was on Battlefield disparted. So it was like, basically it was just me, like, trying to socialize in my free time, trying to meet people, and I don't know, not let myself rot away, basically. I always was interested in VR, so I was like, you know what, I'm pulling the trigger. I'm buying it and just going for it.
Okay. What was your first VR headset that you used back when you wanted to just go for it and pull the trigger?
The Index. Release date Index. It was either the Index, which was more expensive, or the Rift S. And yeah, I don't have to talk about the Rift S. We don't talk about that thing.
You'd be surprised how common that headset is as people's first if they've been here for a long time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And the reason why I didn't take it was because of the IPD adjustment, which was really important for me.
So from the beginning, when you were just playing and then got into the club scene, what was your pull into the club scene as a DJ? How did you start DJing, and what was the club you went to at first?
So it kind of started when I went to VTVR. Met people that I got kind of close with, and I started sort of paying attention to how people were playing music. The first day was like tech tease. Yeah, quite an important person in my life. I saw him DJ, and I saw like his DJ software open, and I just started putting A with B, like, oh, this matches up, this is how it works. I started just in my head like, wait, hold on, this makes so much fucking sense. This is kind of how I got interested, and it kind of, when I actually left away, it was like it kind of went back to something I did when I was really young. Because when I was really young, and I do mean like super young, as a kid, I actually made 4 tracks in Fruit Loop.
Oh.
Which now is called FL Studio. So, I don't know, it was just like my old self coming back at me. It was like, yeah, we should do something with this. Then it was like let's not just buy a DJ device yet, like a deck. Let's just try it in the software. And I was like, okay, this is interesting, but this sucks. I need the DJ deck. And from there, it just went like, it skyrocketed. Did it every week, basically.
What about that first instance of you seeing the club scene and seeing the DJ play the music that brought you back to a kid, made you want to continue DJing and being involved with the club scene at the time?
It comes down to me being brought up into the EDM scene by my cousin, who was really massive into the EDM scene. I'm from the Netherlands, big, massive EDM country, biggest EDM event in existence is in this country. a lot of famous DJs, producers come from this country. It's kind of in the blood, you could say. And I've always, somehow there was always a connection with the music. And this club that I went to in VRchat played that music. So it's like my comfort zone. I knew this. I recognized this. I used to go as a kid to like kids disco, where they sort of played that music too. So it was like, yeah, this is really familiar. I feel at home at this. I feel in place in this. And from the familiarity, that's where it grew, basically.
Okay. One of the things I hear of a lot in the VR chat club scene, as well as how encouraging a lot of the people are in the club scene. Is that something you've experienced yourself?
Ooh. Oh, that's a topic. Yes and no.
Oh.
There are people that are encouraging, but well, at first, when I started, a lot of people were encouraging, a lot of people were kind, and etc., etc. But over time, it slowly started growing in people, like pushing people away because cloud, different music, different affiliations, people started spreading rumors, bullshit about everyone. People started putting rules in place that didn't make sense. You were not allowed to criticize anyone, and I do mean criticize, not be like, oh, you're an asshole, you're bad, or whatever. No, actual criticism was not even allowed, because apparently people do not know how to criticize people, and apparently people do not know how to take criticism. Because I believe if you criticize a DJ, you also have a solution for the DJ. Like, you know what went wrong, or you heard something and you have a suggestion to fix it. For example, I mean, still everyone, the backline is still like, oh, you just play how you play, but I hear this, I don't know if you hear this, yes or no, and you just go like, yeah, this is something you might want to look out for.
Yeah, there is a huge difference between constructive criticism and complaining. I can definitely understand where you're coming from there.
Yes.
So
definitely.
Sorry, you continue.
Continue.
You continue.
There is also a aspect of I know you, you know me. Like there is like favoritism between the people that know each other. And when you have beef with someone, they will always side with them without looking at what happened. So I've been kicked from a bunch of places before, and lo and behold, like literally 6 months later, it turned out the person I was criticizing was shunned by the entire community because they were actually a dick.
I see. So were those kinds of things is what kind of pulled you away from being a DJ initially, or did you just find interest other places?
I lost interest. Like, when I finally actually like left the entire community, this was 6-ish months after I already made my decision, already told my friends like, hey, I'm leaving probably. This place is not for me anymore. I cannot grow here. I need to grow to stay interested in this hobby. Else it's not interesting for me. And when something is not interesting, you put it aside, it's gonna grab dust and you'll never look around. Anyone knows this with their hobby. Like when a hobby stops being interesting, it just like gets on the sideline, it's just like whatever.
So I got a question for our line.
Yeah.
When you are DJing and everything else like this, what do you get out of what you're doing and stuff like? What is the thrill that you get out of when you're DJing?
The thrill that I get out of DJing is, well, of course, the people liking your music, getting the compliments, etc. But what stands on number one and number two, let's go with number two first, getting comments from producers or DJs that you hold really high in regard. Getting comments from them, getting like good comments from them, or a very valuable criticism, that's definitely one of the things that really keep me going and really what I strive for. Up top of that, so number one is doing something you've not done before, actually doing it live and succeeding.
Okay. So I have another question for you in kind of regards to that a little bit. What kinds of things did you pick up that you use now from your time in the club scene, whether DJing or any specific skills or things you've learned?
Basically the basic skills as in beat matching, feeling the room a bit, how to use the IQs, like a lot of technical stuff, and getting to know the music more, getting to see how others DJ, how you can compare that to yourself, and building from there. I went on because, I mean, generally 99%, nothing wrong with it. Just play with 2 tracks. I play with 4. I went beyond that. I grew out of the 2 tracks basically and went beyond, and this is also where my rifles stopped existing mostly. So I started exploring myself. Currently, I'm trying to learn what you call scratching, because that's a new avenue that I've not done yet.
Okay.
And for that, I'm looking at other DJs that do that. There are 2 really amazing DJs in VRchat. Can't come up with their name right now. One Japanese person, one USA person. Really fucking good when it comes to scratching. And I kind of want to be on the same level, so that's another goal to reach.
Okay. So I have a question.
For Line.
You shoot.
What if somebody come up and asked you, you know, they want to be a DJ, what advice would you give them to help them along, or whatever the situation might be?
All right, so first advice is try the free software out. Try actually mixing a couple of tracks in the software without a DJ deck. Don't pull your money yet on any of those devices. Just put it out there on your computer. Try it out with your mouse and keyboard. See if the basics are actually for you, if you actually understand the software, because that's the biggest hurdle you'll have to go past. And it's okay you don't have rhythm yet at this point. It's totally okay. You have your interest there. Next is finding the rhythm, finding the tracks you like, finding the way you like mixing stuff. You can look at other DJs, how they mix stuff, but you have to find your own pace. You have to find your own music that fits you. Like me, for example, I started outgrowing music, so I started doing different genres. You can work your way up there. Most of all, just like start playing, practice, and start sharing your sets. Do 30-minute sets first. Do 1-hour-minute sets first. Share them with friends. Ask for feedback. How does it sound? And ask them to be critical. Because when they are being critical, you're able to grow based on that. And if they're just positive, then be like, fine, okay, I'm ready to play. Or be like, okay, I gotta find someone that is not positive and start criticizing again till you feel comfortable with yourself. Like, okay, now I can actually play. And from there, it's all just like XP leveling. You're just leveling up. You're just like killing 100 mobs to level up to the level you want, and then you decide, okay, I'm gonna be a bedroom DJ, I'm comfortable here, I will stay here, or I'm gonna level up to whatever and go from there. Just start with the software. If the software is limiting you and you like what you're doing, then you buy a DJ deck, and whichever one you get, it's all up to you.
Okay. So you've said a few times the importance of constructive criticism. What was some of the first bits of constructive criticism you got while DJing, or even VTubing, or anything you do?
Okay, when it came to DJing, one of my other mentors, I shared his set, and he was like, I do not hear a feeling in it, but I do feel you can do better. Try finding the feeling of it. So this is the part where it's like finding the music that fits you, finding the music that connects with you, like on an emotional part. That was probably one of the best criticisms I got at the start.
How did you incorporate that, and did it help you improve after taking the criticism?
I started just like, instead of just like playing music, I actually went into the software, set my ass down, put the DJ deck in front of me, and actually just started like listening to the tracks closely and putting different tracks under it and just listening like, hey, this speaks to me, this matches, this is like you kind of start feeling adrenaline at that point. You kind of start like, yo, this bops, this hits hard, this is fucking awesome. Like you start like getting really excited. At that point, you know you're on the right track, and you start just building from there. And all these thoughts and all these feelings are all connected to you and the music. It's all part there. It's all here working together with your head.
Okay. So what was the difference between when you didn't do that to after, when you started paying attention and connecting to the music? Was the sound of the set different?
It sounded like a jumbled mess. Like it didn't sound super awful, but it just like sounded random tracks together, random tracks put together, not knowing the music basically. Just like it was music I liked, but it didn't fit.
Ah. Okay.
Because what you kind of do with a DJ set is basically you grab a bunch of music and basically you try to tell a story, or you just want to make one big ass fucking track out of it, basically.
Okay.
And nobody likes a track that stops abruptly in the middle or something. Nobody likes that.
So, what did you mean by tells a story, or there was one long track? Is there a difference between the two? And is it better to prepare your set ahead of time, or do it impromptu ahead, or at the moment?
So the difference between a story or a long track is like a story you're trying to tell a feeling, like you grab the people's attention with particular tracks, you make them feel something. Like, for example, I had this at Static, I had this speedcore set that basically was telling a story of like damnation, and through every part had just got like you felt like awesome, you felt like you were the hero, you basically like rose up from the ashes and actually like felt like majestic, basically like you felt like you just slayed a Dark Souls boss, basically.
Here, we're in the middle of a show. I forgot I was on blue. Sorry. Oops.
Just sit down. Just be quiet. You'll be all fine. It's all right.
Sorry, please continue. My bad.
Okay, so that's the story part. You're trying to make them feel something. You're trying to tell them something with music, basically. Like, yeah, people get emotional with music. So first at this. A lot of people after that set came to me like, usually I do not listen to this kind of music, but this set felt super great. And that's also what I like trying to do, is like just having music in there that people normally don't listen to. Then on the other part, a set that just sounds like one track is basically just like you matching up tracks that really sound well together, but doesn't like have a feeling, just like enjoyable to listen to, just like, yeah, great music, I like drinking to this, I like partying to this, I like dancing to this, and I do not have to use my brain. Not that you have to use your brain with the other one, but it doesn't like create feeling. It's just like, oh yeah, we're here just dancing, have a good time, basically. Just like, yeah, one good track that you like listening to, basically.
So what made you want to become a VTuber, and how did you get started?
Okay, so how I started was like, I needed a new avenue to entertain myself, to grow in. And with the aspect of like being able to grow in this as a VTuber will mean that I will be able to eventually earn enough money to lower my workload with my job, basically. And because people find me really entertaining in VR chat, I was like, okay, there is something there that people like. So can I sell that as a VTuber? Like, sell as in, is it entertaining for people online to watch me while playing games? And lo and behold, people started liking it. Partially due my voice. People are really, really keen on my voice.
Oh.
I do not understand why.
Can I go home with you?
Well, so did you see any difference in the entertainment you got from doing it, from both being a VR DJ to VTubing? Did you see any differences in how you enjoyed it?
I enjoy it in a different way. Definitely in a different way. I enjoy playing games and having people basically just like, it's like when you have your friends over, you only have this single player game. Basically, you're sitting there in front of that game playing it, and you just have your friends like shouting at you, saying stuff, or like poking you in the back, and that's the viewers basically. That kind of enjoyment I get out of it. Whereas in DJing, it's like people in front of you, and you're trying to like entertain them with music and stuff. It's like different kind of enjoyment. It's kind of hard to explain, but feelings.
Okay. So one thing I hear quite a bit of from VTubers, they have some sort of lore and stuff. Is there anything you have for your own VTube character as well?
There is some lore. Currently, there is basically none, because unlike a lot of VTubers, they do whatever they do. A lot of starting VTubers go, I need a model first, I need art first, I need lore first. For me, I just wanted to know, is this even a thing for me before I even spend a dime on it? Oh, well, as minimal as possible. So that's how I started, and I just started growing from there. However, there will be a model, there will be art, there will be lore, but that will be for later. I cannot reveal that yet. But people who know me from VTubing, people who know me, the games that I play, might see a relation with the games and my lore a bit.
Ah. So since you don't really have a character yet and stuff, may I ask what makes you want to have that lore be something that'll transfer over to the character?
I feel like having lore is sort of part of the VTuber. There are many VTubers out there that's just started streaming and later came with the lore. A lot of early VTubers and stuff did this, and I'm kind of on the same track. Like honestly, back in the day, the only ones that actually had lore was Hololive, and the later bigger groups. For indie VTubers, there wasn't really lore thing. That's actually something like super recent, like end last year, starting this year, that a lot of indies started doing that too.
Okay. So since you said you wanted to test the waters before going into it, did you have the moment yet that made you want to continue being a VTuber? What was that moment?
It was the moment when I started getting more interactions from the viewers, basically, and when viewers started calling me particular things, or we started having like basically memes that are particularly to my stream. At that moment, I knew like we have a community now. There is a community. Now I actually have my validation, like, yes, there is something there. There is something growing, and there are people that see me as part of their like family, basically. Like, oh, this is. I even had someone recently say like, oh yeah, you're my Oshi, which was quite massive to hear from someone.
I'm gonna sound a little dumb, but what's an Oshi?
An Oshi is like basically like your idol, basically. Your idol.
Okay.
Like you have a lot of like artists that are like, oh yeah, this artist is my idol, as well as you have fans and other VTubers like, oh, this VTuber is my idol, basically.
Okay.
And because VTubing started as a Japanese thing, they call it Oshi.
Ah, okay. I never heard the term before, so I very much appreciate you explaining it. I also have another weird question. Since you've been in the VR scene doing DJs, and I'm sure you've done a couple of other things, is there a difference between the audience you get with theme like VR or VR chat and VTubers? Is the audience any difference between the two?
Yes. Massively different. Massively different, because VRchat has its own culture. So if you start streaming VRchat, for example, people expect stuff because it's VRchat. People expect different, acting differently, etc., etc. Whereas when it comes to VTubing, these people do only know about VTubing. They barely know anything about VR. Some of them have VR. Some of my viewers have VR, but they are really reserved on it for most of them. Like, there are, of course, some that are just like me, but it's literally a whole different crowd that has a whole different type of expectations. And when you combine VRchat with that crowd, basically the culture you had in VRchat just disappears, because you're still entertaining that crowd. So whatever you learned before in VRchat, socially, whatever, that just all goes in the bin, gone, because now you're a permanent entertainer for the VTubing crowd, basically.
Okay. So what is the difference in expectations between the VR crowd and the VTube crowd? What kinds of things do they look for, and how are you treated as the entertainer differently between the two crowds?
So when it comes to VRchat, it's more colloquial and social. It's more, yeah, I would say more dirty jokes, but that's not really true. I mean, there are plenty of dirty jokes when you watch VTubers and stuff. It's just like, it's on a different social level. Like, it's more personal when it's in VRchat. Like, really, really personal, because you start actually like speaking to people around you. You're having them as a physical presence, and even if they are on Twitch, for example, and you're like playing VRchat on stream, it's still the same crowd. There's still like social connectivity that's like really face to face, even though there can be like 100 people in your chat, and it's like it's a continuously social. Like, a lot of streamers that stream VRchat are not streaming it alone. They're usually streaming it with other people around. It's always really social, always really lively, as where a VTuber crowd is expecting all you and them. It's like you speaking to the viewers as the VTuber, and it's literally how they usually feel is like you're in this room with the VTuber and they are making entertainment for you, which is correct. As a VTuber, you are making entertainment for the viewer. And that's a whole different type of social interaction. It's not super easy to explain, but it feels different. It feels less face-to-face social and more like entertaining social, I would say. You still start growing close with your viewer base, but it's just the interactions are just they're just different. It's just a whole different crowd. Yeah.
So I appreciate you explaining that, because I haven't really much experience as a VTuber, but I have experienced a lot of VR, so I appreciate you explaining the difference. Another question I have in terms of the line is, in the kinds of people you would work with as an entertainer in VR versus as a VTuber, are the people you would interact with any different, or the social interactions difference between you and someone you'd do a collab with?
Yes, definitely. They have different expectations from you when you're collabing with VTubers that do, well, VTubing. You're expected to behave in a particular way that is like if you've been in, for example, a clan, a guild or whatever, playing games, it's sort of like that. It's basically like that kind of interaction with each other. You like basically pull each other up or like make fun of each other for entertainment value for the viewers. Like you have this connection as in like more business. Even though there's a lot of VTubers that are really social with themselves, it is more business. Because we are all there to try to grow as a VTuber, and the VTuber market is crowded in a way and really harsh. As whereas in VRchat you have the pull from like, hey, I can actually meet these people in VR and I can meet their viewers in VR. So the pull is easier. It's less business but more social. Whereas in if you're collabing as a VTuber, pulling viewers, because that's why we're collabing. We're pulling viewers from each other basically. Like you're sharing your viewers with each other. You're trying to like, yo, hey, this VTuber is cool too, blah 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 blah, whatever. Pulling people from one streamer to another, super hard. Definitely super hard, because the viewer knows that VTuber and their personality that matches their likes. Like they like the personality, and if you come there as a collab character, it's not automatically like, oh yeah, they're all gonna watch you too, because your personality needs to match too. And it's like you're basically mixing these elements. Like gacha games have elements that match with each other, don't match with each other. Same with VTubers. We're basically gacha characters. Basically, if you match two elements that don't fit together, you can get really controversial. But when you have something that matches really well together, you just gain more viewers. Most of the time, you just gain more viewers. And if you're in the middle, then it's just like, just same where you are, and it's fine.
Okay. So a lot of these differences and things you've explained to us between VR entertainers and VTubers, was that something you expected going into it, or is that something you learned over time?
I did my research, so I did kind of expect it, but it's also some of the qualms of learning it over time. Like you can read a book about something, but you still have to experience it. Like, for example, you can read a book on how to work on an engine from a car, but it's still different from actually doing it. But it's kind of like that, basically, for me.
Okay. So now, what have been some of your more favorite moments VTubing since you've picked up doing it?
One of my favorite moments of VTubing were definitely some of the collabs. Me being me, I had a couple of glasses of wine and I joined this collab. What was the company game again? Lethal Company. And there were we had like a ton of VTubers in this collab, like about 20 or something. And me being me, I was really loud, bit lewd and stuff, and like really there. And that's kind of how I gained a lot of viewers from there, and I gained a lot of like friend VTubers too, because they were like, oh, you're entertaining. When we have you around, people stay around. And at that point it was like, yeah, this is great. This is cool. This is me, and this is my skill, basically. I was like, yeah, my skill got validated. Like with VTubing, a lot of things that are awesome, that are great, are validations. So my skill getting validated. Another one was getting a really nice donation from a viewer out of nowhere, which was also fucking awesome. Like at that point, it was like, people think you're worth their money. So that's another like validation, is like something cool happening. And I started receiving free games too. So another level of validation. And that's kind of how it builds up as a VTuber. A lot of validation. And these validations are just points in your progress, as in, yes, you've grown and you feel good about it.
Okay. So I have another weird question as well. As you get validated in what you're doing, do you change your personality as you become the VTuber, or are you still being yourself as you get validated?
I'm still being myself. because that's why people view me.
Okay.
Because if you change yourself, you turn into a different VTuber, and the people that might like you after you changed could be there, but the people that liked you before will disappear. So I just try to be myself.
Okay.
Even when I finally have the lore settled, when I finally have my new model, I will still be me.
Do you find it easy to continue to be yourself as you're trying to become an entertaining VTuber? Is that something that you could do easily?
Really easily. To a point where people that met me online realize when they meet me IRL that I'm the exact same person. I literally had people tell me that multiple times, like, you are just like online. You're literally the same person. So I'm not really putting up a personality for the story. This is both for VTubing and VR chat, because a lot of people like being someone else in VR chat, and I don't blame them, but I'm just me.
I can understand that. I can only assume between both worlds, VR chat and VTuber, that becoming someone else is a way of becoming who you wish you were, or maybe becoming something you want to play as. And I can see how you can get lost in yourself to the point where the lines will blur between who are you and who's the character.
That is correct. There are plenty of VTubers, VR chatters that can put that aside really well. There are also plenty of people that can't. And then it's like either like you like being that new person or you don't. And being that new person, does it impact you, yes or no? Because let's be real, being a person on the internet is really important nowadays. You liking yourself being that person, it's like whatever, okay, just be that person. If that makes you happy, do it IRL too. Just like as long as you're enjoying yourself, as you do not feel like you're not being yourself anymore, then there's no problem with it. The only problem happens when you start like seeing, oh, this is not me, but I'm doing this for entertainment. Then you have to make a decision, I'm okay with it or not. Did I lose myself or not? And that's just that's for each person, it's their own experience. It's not like something I really can talk about because I do not have the experience. I am literally myself. And I always will be, and I always try to be, because I do not like being someone else.
I can understand that. I'm going to ask you a left field question now because I'm really good at Whiplash stuff. What are some of your favorite audience interactions that you've had as a VTuber?
Let's see. I guess it came from the meme where, so I wear wireless headphones when VTubing, and when I charge the headphone, there's a voice that plays, like, that says, like, charging or low battery, whatever. And one time I did this, and the whole chat just went wild, like shouting me like that was fucking loud, and oh no, my ears and shit. Like everyone was just like shitting on me in a good way, but it happened again the stream after that, and from then on, people started joking like, oh shit, here she is again, or like, I'm just like, guys, I'm sorry for this, and then I plug my headset in, and then they all start crying in chat. Honestly, that's my favorite interaction ever, like hands down #1. And now some are starting to joke like, okay, we need ASMR from this now. We need a battery low ASMR. And all that. Some people started joking about it a lot. And I like that.
Okay. Sounds pretty funny. That also kind of reminded me of a question I've asked another guest who is a VTuber as well. What kinds of things does your audience expect of you as a VTuber? And are you easily able to give in, or do you have to tell them no? Hello, just real quick. I'll only take a few seconds of your time. In the description that way, you have a card, Metaverse Degen to card.co. We have many links down there for you to come check out. We have an X link, which is with me. We have a Discord where we hang out and do stuff all the time, as well as a Patreon link, where if you wish to support us, you can. Where there's also a show and another podcast separate from Metaverse Degen, which we have available to our wonderful members who signed up, such as Niche, Training Fangs, Aliquum, and Forbidden Zero. Thank you all. You're all amazing. Enjoy the rest of your video. I won't take up any of your time.
My audience is pretty well behaved, but it might also kind of be because they kind of see me as this mommy figure. So they're all little good boys and good girls, but they do expect me to struggle in games, basically. Like, they really like seeing me struggle in games. So I always play games that I struggle. When I play a game, we play it hard or harder. We do not play it easy. No question about it. None. And when people are asking me in chat, I'm pretty lenient when it comes to this stuff. I've not met the point where they would ask me something I was like, no, I'm not gonna do this. And with that being said, people that have been toxic in my chat, I have zero remorse for them either. I kick them out straight away. No question asked, because they are not viewers. They are not worth your time. If that happens to your chat, just like yeet them out. They're not worth your time, money whatsoever. They will even make other viewers feel like, okay, I don't want to be here anymore. So, nah. It's your stream. You're the boss. Chat can ask you something, but you're still the one that makes the decision.
Okay. So, as a VTuber, what are some of the best ways to interact with the chat?
Mostly just talking to the chat, like literally talking to the chat. React to them constantly. If they are not speaking, but you know they are there, just like talk about stuff that you've done through the day, or like talk about the game, or like be there, be as if you're talking to them and they're listening to you, basically. And another way to interact with people is, like, for example, Twitch has redeems. Viewers can redeem stuff. So if they redeem something, you do what they redeem. That's another way to interact. YouTube does not have this, sadly. It's what it is. But there's another way where you can interact there. You can actually, like, start conversations with the viewer. You can actually, like, make them feel like you're listening to them, like they are there, that you notice them. Because the big part, how you keep your viewers, is noticing the viewers. That's really important. And that's usually what most viewers actually want. They want to see you play games that they like. They want to see you maybe struggle. Maybe they are like a viewer that likes seeing VTubers struggle, for example. They want to see you laugh. They want to see you have fun. They want to pull jokes on you. They want you to pull jokes on them. They want to see you get frustrated, etc., etc. Some viewers like just a really tame VTuber where you just like speak really nicely. The audience is so massive, it's kind of hard pinpointing everyone down, because I do have a whole range of viewers. Some are literally just there to listen to my voice. Like, literally, they tell me straight up, like, I like your voice, I'm gonna put you on my background and just listen to you.
So with your audience, what kinds of ways do you interact with them, since the audience is so big and they enjoy various things from the VTubers? What does yours enjoy from you?
So, basically, when it comes to that, depends on what I'm streaming. When I'm streaming Nikkei, a lot of interactions with the viewers when, like, what are you pulling for? Which character should I get? I did a rating board once, like asking, like, the viewers, like, where would you put this? Blah, blah, actually, like, integrating them into the stream, basically. And I also have streams where it's like, oh, it's a really, like, slow game, so I just, like, put the mic a bit closer, the gain a bit different, start talking a bit deeper, a bit slower, a bit more voluminous, and that's more appealing to the ones that just want to hear me speak, basically. So I try to get different streams where I appeal to the different viewers, and yeah, some just want to listen to you, some really want to be part of your stream. Sometimes I do multiplayer games where I invite viewers into the game. Nikkei being one of them, because there is a multiplayer aspect to it. So far that's kind of the interactions we had so far.
Okay. What was the experience like meeting your the viewers who see you as a VTuber? What was that experience like when you pulled them into game and played with them?
It was really fun. Like I said before, they're all behaved. They're all good little boys and girls. So that was really fun. But I was really happy when they actually start being comfortable, like shouting stuff out and like a little bit of banter. I like it when my viewers feel the comfort of having banter, like Helldiver, for example. A lot of banter between me, viewers, and friends. Because for me, you're just another person that I like playing games with. Basically, that's how I treat you too. Like you're not just like a low life, whatever, behave little guy. No, you're more closer for me. Because you as the viewer make me what I am now, basically. So I just like try to interact with them normally when playing games together. And if they are more well known with the game, I just be like, okay, you take the lead. Drag me along.
Okay. That leads me to another question as well. Since it sounds like you started in VR and then became a VTuber, is there any social norms that you've picked up from the VR chat scene that makes you different in the VTuber scene? And how are other VTubers, like the interaction you mentioned, like wanting to interact with your audience as they're a person versus an audience member? Is that common amongst VTubers?
Yes, that is definitely common amongst VTubers. The difference between VR chat and VTubing, you can get away with a lot of shit in VR chat that you just cannot get away with in VTubing. And honestly, that is kind of the only difference, basically, when it comes to what you can say, basically. Like, there are so many unwritten rules as a VTuber. So fucking many. It's way more, even as an indie, way more corporate.
I have noticed there's, at least for the few, I don't watch VTubers very much, God forbid, so I'm sorry ahead of time. But I have noticed a little bit of difference between those who are involved with corporations and indie VTubers a little bit. At least I've noticed a bit of a social difference between the two anyway.
Yeah. Indie VTubers feel more at ease being less corporate, being more free with what they say, what they have opinions about, for example, and how they interact with viewers. Like I said before, the way I interact with my viewers is pretty close. But when you're actually a corpo, you do not get that interaction with viewers. You have to put them at a particular level because you are not allowed to do that. Your own opinions are sometimes not even allowed. Like a really famous moment was when Kiryu Koko basically got shunned by the entirety of China for acknowledging Taiwan as a country, basically. That's another corpo thing. Like, there are things you just cannot do, nor say, or allow to tell people. Like, you are you are sort of yourself, but you are also this character. You are an actor, basically. You're basically an actor. You follow the script. If you get outside the script as a corpo, you get punished. And if it's not your corp punishing you, it's the whole community that might punish you because you said something that they don't like.
Now, you getting into VTubing as well, is that do you want to stay an indie by yourself, or do you ever want to join a corporation, especially with some of the things you've mentioned to us just now?
I'm open for joining a corporation. Yes, definitely. I'd be a fool not to. Like, honestly, being part of a corpo, you have a massive gain in viewership just by default. Do you have guidelines to follow? Yes. Are you less free? Yes. But that's the same with the job, and that's what it is to be a corpo. It's a job. So it's part of it. It's normal. You're the same with actors. You can't say everything. You gotta be wary of what you say. you gotta, numbers matter. And at that point, you're getting paid to be this VTuber instead of you being yourself a VTuber and maybe get donations, etc., etc. You're actually getting paid to be this VTuber.
Okay.
So yes, I will. I will definitely be open to it. I will definitely audition for some auditions when they're open again. And when that happens and when that's settled, I'm quitting my job basically because I have a new job at that point. But me as an indie, I don't have to quit my job because being an indie at the level that I am, not big enough for that. Like there are only a few indies that are big enough to be self-sustaining.
Okay. So what keeps you being a VTuber as an indie? Is it the hopes of one day being corporate, or is it your interactions with what you've experienced with your chat and being a VTuber so far that keep you doing it?
Just basically the interactions with chat and everything. I just like doing it, and the whole corpo thing. That's just a thing on the side for might the opportunity be there. I'll do it, but if not, I'll just continue doing what I like doing.
Okay. So, what were some of the first streams you did as a VTuber, Mask? What were some of your first times you actually doing the thing? What were they like?
Well, as a starting VTuber, you of course have a low amount of viewership. Started playing Death Stranding. Had a couple of viewers come by, and we're just really just like a learning experience. You really gotta go over the couple of hurdles that you do as a starting streamer, not just a VTuber. Like you have to interact with nobody being there because your chat's basically empty. You might have one or two viewers that say something, but you gotta keep on going because if you do not say anything and someone tunes in, they're like, "Oh, this one's just not here," or whatever. I'm just speaking. I'm away again. There's no entertainment. So you had to start entertaining an audience that wasn't there. That's one of the biggest hurdles for. Well, it was for me, but a lot of other people too. From there, it was like, okay, I gained some viewers. Now I have to keep the viewers, and I have to start getting to the point that I can build a community. So you gotta start noticing the trends, like what do they like, what are they interested in, and if you're lucky, the viewer will actually tell you. Most of the time, they won't.
Okay.
That's kind of the biggest hurdles in the start. You just grow from there.
You know, I've heard that bit of advice as well for starting streamers. Make sure you entertain the audience that isn't there. Was that how do you do that in the beginning? Like entertain someone that doesn't exist or isn't interacting with you?
For me, it was just pretending that there are actually people watching, and with the afterthought, like, hey, if I do not do it right now, I can't use this stream. But if I do it now, I still have a stream that I can put on YouTube and still make a video out of it. So I'm just like having two goals in one, basically, like having an afterthought, like, okay, there's nobody there. I'm still trying to entertain, which is kind of the same you do with YouTube videos. Like, you're making a video while nobody's listening to you at that point. So it's kind of with that idea. It's like, okay, just talk, just like try to entertain, even if there's nobody, and just see you from there. Just like basically gain XP.
How long did it take you to learn that little bit of starting as a VTuber, the whole speaking to an audience and learning to be a streamer versus what you're used to doing before as a DJ?
It took about, I will say 3 weeks-ish that it actually started pulling off and actually started being comfortable with doing it. And that's also kind of partially thanks to a friend that was like, because he has streamed before, so he was like kind of like guiding me, like, okay, I watched your stream. You should be doing these things because that make it better for potential viewers to stick around. So yeah, kind of almost a month basically to get on a comfortable level to just speak to nobody and to actually be entertaining enough to keep viewers. But I will say, do it at your own pace, because for some it's harder than others. Some people are introverts. I used to be an introvert before I started DJing, so you got to start somewhere.
Interesting. Now I have a more of a technical back of house question as well. When you VTube, do you just stream, or do you also utilize other platforms like YouTube, TikTok, YouTube Shorts when you do your content?
I utilize. Oh, let's see. I use YouTube for VODs and streaming. That's where I'm currently also like having my growth focus on, because I gotta reach a milestone so I can get memberships. I use TikTok. I stream on Twitch, of course. There were some social media websites that are not really used anymore that were kind of VTubing specific. Another massive one for a lot of VTubers is Twitter, although I can rest assured, easily said, I have absolute zero growth from Twitch. I mean Twitter, well, X. Most of my current new followers are just people that come either from YouTube or Twitch itself. And YouTube has been really, really well for me lately. Like when I started this year, I started with 0. And we're half a year now, and I'm on 366 subscribers now on YouTube.
Oh, wow. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
So when you're doing your content for both YouTube VODs and Twitch or streaming, how do you plan or interact with both platforms differently? Like, what do you plan a specific video, or do you chop up streams and throw it to YouTube? How do you do it?
I'm gonna be a super bad example at this. I stream at the same time on them. I used to just upload my VODs to YouTube, but seeing as I now stream on YouTube too, the VODs are just there by default. And that's all I do. I'm super bad example for this. Somehow I'm growing. I don't know why. Might be my voice, who knows? Maybe I'm just lucky, but I'm super bad example at making content. I keep having my friend telling me, like, you should do this, you should make some videos. I am gonna. It's a good advice. Actually, do make your videos. What I'm doing actually in the background is like downloading all the VODs and actually like cut out all the fun parts, and that's gonna be a video. Do the same thing. Definitely do the same thing. That's what people like seeing. I was gonna say something else, but my brain just went poof. Oh yeah, the reason why I've not been making that content is I lost my job and I had to find a new job. So my entire focus was just like finding a new job, and I just made sure to just keep my streams constant. So my viewers get to see something, and I'm still there. Because that's another thing. You have to be there. You have to be consistent. Either be like Asmund, who streams every fucking day, which is absolute insanity, or have a constant schedule that actually you follow. Because not following your schedule will be shunned up on by your viewers, because they are also scheduling in their own time.
Okay.
And time is money.
Indeed, time is in fact money. I do have another weird question for you, since you simulcast between two platforms. Is the audience difference between the two, between the Twitch audience and the YouTube Live audience? Is there a difference between how they interact with you?
Yes and no. It kind of depends on the game, but usually they're kind of the same. I kind of get the same viewer base on both platforms, basically, like the same interests from. It's just like one prefers Twitch and one prefers YouTube. And sometimes, which is really funny, actually coming back to that one question, like interesting viewer engagements. I had my Twitch viewers fight against the YouTube viewers by themselves in my chat. Because they had different opinion about something that happened in a game, and they were basically just like rifling each other and saying what is better. It's like this, literally, it was purple against red, basically. It was quite funny. And then it just happens naturally, and it's just fun.
Now, with that said, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Do you have a preference between the two platforms, as like you streaming on them?
Yes, I do. Regarding viewers, no.
Well, no,
regarding
not the viewers,
actual
just the
platform, yeah, the actual platform, YouTube, despite not having all these redeems, donations, and whatever thingies, whatever, YouTube is just a better platform. The analytics are there. I can actually see who's viewing me, how old they are, what gender they are, when they're tuning in, what they like, etc., etc. I can see where viewers come from, what videos might relate to my videos, etc., etc. There is so much information, and this is partially why my growth has been pretty well while me still searching for a job, because I had enough information to make myself grow without me worrying too hard about it. You just get so much from YouTube to make yourself grow. You just have to use the tools to make yourself grow. Instead, whereas in Twitch, there is an algorithm, it got leaked, but it's pain, pure pain. Because the analytics on Twitch, absolute dog shit. Absolute worthless. You can kinda get when streams are popular around your time-ish, and oh, this viewer also watches this viewer, but that doesn't say shit. Algorithm got leaked from Twitch, as in you either stream 4 hours straight, then you might get a viewer increase, then another 6 hour, well, a 6th hour, so like 2 more hours, then you get another viewer increase-ish, etc., etc. Twitch, how Twitch works is like, either you're lucky, or it pushes you in front of the list because you have been streaming long. And I'm an adult. I have a job. I had a job before too when I started. I cannot fathom nor do that after my job to stream 4 hours, because then I'm getting close to bedtime. I have other shit. I have other obligations to do. That's just not Twitch. Bad, really bad. The only thing that's positive about Twitch currently is the ad revenue. And all the gifted sub and all those little things that give me revenue. It's not much. It's like $50 per 2 months. But it allows me to, for example, on gacha games, like buy a skin, stream that me buying skin. It gains viewers, etc. So I put it back. That's another thing. I put every penny that I earn from this, I put back into the stream. We have to see what happens once I reach over the 500 subscribers on YouTube and actually start making money there. And if the revenue there is better, then I will have to say, like, YouTube is de facto the best. Currently, YouTube's here, Twitch is here, but YouTube's ever so slightly starting to do this. Although there are some things on Twitch happening revenue-based that might pull Twitch ahead of YouTube, but that's you gotta look into it yourself.
Okay. So, with both platforms in mind, how would you utilize the tools they give you to succeed?
So when it comes to YouTube, with the analytics, naming, thumbnails, hashtags, yeah, those kind of things. Basically, having a proper description, etc., etc. Making your stream look like a video, basically, before it starts and when it ends. Really important. For example, at the end of your VOD, there's this card that will show, or well, if you have it set up correctly, will show a related stream and a preview stream, and in the middle a subscribe button. You cannot do that on Twitch. So on Twitch, it's just like putting in the right game, the right keywords in the title, make it sound interesting, push out the notification when you start streaming, and Good luck.
So I have a question that I've seen a lot in Twitch streams versus YouTube streams is rating. When you end your stream, you can send your entire audience somewhere else. Is that something that YouTube does, or is that just a Twitch thing?
That is only a Twitch thing.
Okay.
And it's more popular when it comes to, for example, the DJ streams. For example, rating is like massive culture. When it comes to other stream types, also massive cultures. On the VTubing side on Twitch, it's also a culture. But VTubing is also really, really big on YouTube, like massively big. Like Hololife's there, the biggest VTubing company in existence. It makes it more personal to the viewer. It makes it more like about the viewer and the streamer. So the YouTube streamer. It's less we are together, and it's more like I'm here for you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of the difference in the social interactions between streamers. Like, you still kind of help each other out in YouTube, but it's less like we are together and more like I'm here for myself, I'm fending for myself in YouTube, which is fine because there's no hate between streamers on YouTube. It's just like that's how the website works, basically.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask you another random question as well. As a VTuber, do you have any inspirations or anyone that you could say that helped you or inspired you along the way?
Yes, Kira Coco, of course. Pekora, Marine. From the indie VTuber side, I would say Melody. Project Melody is definitely an inspiration. Mostly those.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Last final questions before we wrap this all up. Where did you get your name, and how did you, and what made you want to use that as your name?
So, this name is like super old. It's just like my VRchat name that I took over because why not? It's me. I made this name because I used to work in IT. Well, I work in IT again now, but so everyone knows what a Pokédex is. Everyone knows what the index page is on a website. Basically came from there. It's basically like the gathering of information, basically. So Dex just stands for indexing. Yeah, basically indexing, basically gathering of information. It's something nerdy and stupid, but it sticks. People find it really easy calling me that, and yeah, I don't know. It sits.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't think it's stupid at all. I think it's a pretty awesome way to get a name. Now, last two questions. Is the avatar you're in, is that something you wear normally, and what makes you want to use that as an avatar?
So I started with like my very first own avatar was a tan skin avatar. Back in 2019, where being tan, and yes, tan, actually tan skin, because Gyaru is tan. It's not black, it's not, I mean, you can be white, you can be black, but the popular image of Gyaru is tan skin, white hair, makeup. I started at that, and slowly I started developing, and then I became a DJ. So it's like, okay, I need a style that is even more me, apart from just having tan skin. So I grabbed this hair, and I was like, I like blonde. Pink's really well with blonde, and black is also really nice, and blue really contrasts with black. And that's kind of how this look started, and from there I've just been copying this look continuously for when I DJ or when I VTube. My 2D model VTubing has the same style hair, the same colors. The only time when I'm not using this is when I'm just socializing normally.
Okay.
Or when I'm in the mood to change something else.
Okay, that's fair. And if anyone wishes to do anything that you've done or you do currently, like VTuber or DJing, what kind of advice would you give them?
Ask others for advice. Ask others to help you. Do your research and try socializing. Try being unquote unquote friends or business partners, depends on how you want to look at it, with other DJs or VTubers, depending on which direction you're going. Like, be part of the community and start growing from there, because nobody started on themselves. Like, literally nobody started on themselves. You always have a mentor.
Okay. Well, and with that said, last question, I swear. Do you have any mentors in what you're doing with VTubing?
Particular VTubing? No. I do not have a VTuber mentor. I do have a ex-streamer that gives me advice now and then.
Okay. Well, again, Dex, thank you so very much for your time and letting us learn all about you from your DJing all the way to your VTubing now. It's been an absolute pleasure hearing all of it, so thank you very much for your time.
No problem. It was nice.
Before I hand it over to you, Raptor, I'll ask the audience 2 questions. And with that said, with you, since you do DJing and VTubing, I probably have to ask 2 separate questions. For those of you who know VRchat club scene, do you have any favorite VRchat DJs? And for those of you part of VTubing, what's your favorite VTuber moment? Let us down below. Raptor, you know the thing.
Oh boy, do I ever. No matter what you do, if you got a dream, folks, and you want to play around and have a good time and show yourself in the different forms, I just want to catch one of these fucking goddamn butterflies. I might get flyer miles. Might even actually see you somewhere. You have a good one, folks. We'll talk to you later. Bye.